With the antics they perform, they entertain and make people, especially children, happy, make them laugh uncontrollably, and cause others to laugh as well. Clowns. They brighten the childhoods of most of you. They maybe even colored them. Of course, some of you may have coulrophobia, that is, clown phobia, but they are generally loved. There was a clown who lived 80 years ago from today. And this clown, in addition to the characteristics of a normal clown, had a few more things. I can't call these characteristics. For example, murder, various torture methods, sexually assaulting especially young boys, then killing them, then sexually assaulting their corpses again, and more. The subject of this video is this person, John Wayne Gacy, one of America's most famous serial killers, also known as the Killer Clown or the Gay Killer Clown. His name known by the Chicago public was Pogo the Clown. Gacy took his first breath in life in 1942 in Chicago. The biggest factor that makes almost all killers, even not limited to killers, but all criminals, become horrific is their childhood. That is, their families. Gacy, too, spent his childhood suffering severe damage at the hands of his father. A large part of the dark side of his heart was created by his father, who was addicted to alcohol and violence. I'm not exaggerating. This is the purest form of the truth. Character is formed by the family. Whether the child accepts that character or chooses to reject and change it is under the child's control. Gacy's father, John Stanley, one of the veterans of World War I, beat his own wife, Gacy's mother, right in front of him, and inflicted both normal and sexual violence. He treated Gacy and Gacy's siblings the same way, even if they made the smallest mistake. He beat those little kids, verbally and physically abused them. Gacy had a sister 2 years older than him and another sister 2 years younger than him. So Gacy was the only boy among 3 children. He had a congenital heart condition that would not allow him to live an active life. Just because of this, his father considered him a failure. That "this kid won't amount to anything" kid was Gacy in this story. His father constantly branded him as a sissy. Through his behavior, he always made him feel this. He treated him as if he were a girl. I would call him a thoughtless father, and I hope this doesn't bother you. The actions of this careless father would later surface as brutal consequences in Gacy's later years. They would surface. Keep this phrase in a corner of your mind. I'll use it again soon, but then, in its terrifying and bloody form, at age 11, while Gacy was playing in the park, he was hit on the head by a swing at high speed. Until he was 16, until the doctor confirmed the blood clot in his brain and began treatment, he experienced intermittent memory loss for 5 years. Maybe it was hospital negligence. Maybe it was the inadequate conditions of the time. We don't know. After staggering through his childhood with wounds he wasn't even aware of, but that were constantly opening, Gacy could no longer endure the abuse and violence, cut ties with his family down to the thinnest strands, and moved to Vegas. There, he began working as a morgue assistant. This is where Gacy had his first encounter with corpses. He saw dozens of dead bodies every day. Normally, he had no ill intentions or feelings toward these corpses, until he got the idea of getting into the same box as one of them. Yes, one night Gacy got into the same coffin with a randomly chosen male corpse and lay down next to it. For hours, he touched and caressed the cold, frozen body. It was later also revealed that Gacy talked to them and often tried to have intercourse with them. After this incident, when Gacy realized the morgue director suspected something and began to notice things, he resigned. In other words, he literally ran away. He returned to Chicago, but only to Chicago. Not to his family, just alone. Gacy had good sales skills. He was very good at communicating with customers. Once he hooked someone, he would surely sell them the product. You can think of it like a Turkish shopkeeper. Needing money to support himself, Gacy began a one-year job at a shoe store. There, he met his future wife, his co-worker Merlin Myers. They married in 1964. Merlin's father owned 3 branches of the KFC restaurant chain in Waterloo, a city in America that we also know well today. Merlin and Gacy moved to Waterloo, so Gacy could work in one of his father-in-law's restaurants. Thanks to his father-in-law, Gacy became the manager of a KFC branch. He had a good job. Gacy had 2 children from Merlin. They seemed to be a very happy family. But this was only a fake picture they painted. The truth wasn't as it seemed, just like Gacy's soft, chubby-looking face. While successfully running the restaurant, Gacy also began to take interest in clowning. He believed he fit best in clowning. He worked at this pharmacy called Nissan, where Gacy was doing construction work. In 1978, one day, Robert's mother went to pick up her son after his shift, as she always did. But this time, she couldn't find him there. Robert's co-worker said he last saw Robert with a man. Robert's mother only saw him once after that day, as a decomposed corpse. The last person seen with Robert was Gacy. When detectives looked into Gacy's past after the missing report and the complaints pointed toward him, and when they saw he had served time for forcing a gay man into sex, things became clearer for them. With this information, they obtained a warrant to search Gacy's home. While inspecting the house, police found a crawl space beneath the house, a place from which an old, musty smell emanated. Yes, this was actually the smell of corpses, but the detectives believed it came from a leaking sewer pipe and ignored it. They didn't care much. After looking around a bit more and deciding they found no significant evidence, they returned to the station claiming it was a false report. But back at the station, while examining the items taken from Gacy's home, they realized these items were actually crucial evidence. For example, the jacket they found belonged to our missing boy, Robert Peast. Here, look, this was the jacket on Robert. They also learned that a ring found in Gacy's home belonged to another boy who had gone missing a year earlier. With this information, detectives understood the seriousness and urgency of the situation and quickly obtained a second search warrant. And this move would be Gacy's true end. Everything Gacy had been hiding began to surface. For example, the bodies of the children he killed started appearing from the ground. Having no escape left, Gacy began confessing all his crimes to the police. He even drew a detailed map of where he had buried the bodies in his yard and crawl space. This is a 3D representation of Gacy's corpse-filled house made by illustrators. Crews turned Gacy's home upside down. In excavation efforts that lasted for months, the bodies of Gacy's victims emerged one by one. TV channels constantly broadcasted coverage of Gacy and his crimes during those days. Gacy's house became as recognizable to both Americans and international viewers as the White House. If you liked the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave a like. We spent hours working on this, so please don't begrudge a like. You can share your thoughts in the comments. Wish you all a good day,